Niranjan, the floor is yours. Over to you.
Check, check. Thank you, Sharmila ji, for coming all the way to Delhi. It means a lot to us at NBF. And Y Sharmila is the founder and president of the Yuvajana Shramika Raitu Telangana Party. She is the daughter of YS Rajashekar Reddy.
Correction, Niranjan. This is just YSR Telangana Party.
Yes.
It stands
Yes.
by the name of my father, YSR.
Yes.
This is YSR Telangana Party.
YSR Telangana Party.
Right.
And can I ask you, when I speak to people from your party, your outfit, they say you're a political startup. Why are you a political startup, and why did you choose Telangana?
First of all, a great big thank you to Arnab for inviting me. And a huge thanks to everybody who made this idea possible. A platform where voices from the other parts of India are welcome and heard.
Yes.
And coming back to your question now, why Telangana?
Yeah.
Why not Telangana? I have grown up in Telangana. I have grown up in Hyderabad. I have studied in Hyderabad. I have married in Hyderabad. I have delivered 2 children in Hyderabad. I belong there. If there is any place in this whole country I call home,
Yeah.
it is in Hyderabad. Then why not Telangana? My past is there. My future is going to be there. My life is there. Why not Telangana?
You've decided it's going to be Telangana,
It has always been Telangana.
and it will always be Telangana.
Yes, why not? Looks like that.
Hello, mic check.
And
1,
actually,
2, 3, 4,
a huge
check,
round of
check,
applause
check.
because Y Sharmila has walked 2,700 kilometers, has paused the
Huh?
Padyatra to be with us here in Delhi.
Okay.
A lot of people, Sharmila, a lot of people, and in the media, of course, sometimes it's the front page, it's the second page, it's, every feature story is on pictures of a leader who has perhaps covered 1,000 kilometers. But not a lot of people across India know that you've covered 2,700 kilometers. Why are you doing this Padyatra, and what are you trying to do with this Padyatra? I mean, of course, we remember your late father was very popular and he had ground support. When you meet people, what do they tell you? Why is it important to meet people?
Why Padayatra? I'll begin with my father. Well, he chose to do the Padayatra before he became the Chief Minister. And when he did that Padayatra, he established an amazing connect with the people. And that connect was so strong. I think his soul actually connected with his people, so much so that it became the blueprint for his governance. When Dr. YSR, my father, planned so many of the welfare schemes, I think everything had a bearing of his experience from the Padayatra. Like, say, for example, he wanted to educate, poor people free of cost, higher education. Many people who couldn't afford to be doctors or engineers, by just his fees reimbursement scheme, many lakhs of people could study. And there is something called the Arogyasri, which was actually, I think, emulated even in a form of it, even in the USA. It was a scheme that was meant to help the poor people get premium medical care, free of cost. So things like these, all of these came out of his Padayatra, out of his experiences from the Padayatra. So the connect that Padayatra gives is amazing. So I embarked on this Padayatra with a sense that there is nothing else that connects us to the people better than a Padayatra, is what I feel, or as my father has said.
Yeah.
So when we embarked on this Padayatra, when I embarked on this Padayatra, we embarked on this Padayatra because the Chief Minister of Telangana has been saying that under his rule, the people of Telangana are living in a state of bliss, while the contrary is true. So to throw light on the people's problems, I embarked on this Padayatra. I in fact threw a challenge to the Chief Minister himself, saying, if indeed you can walk with me one day, I will show you the kind of problems the people are facing. If indeed what you are saying is true, that under your state, under your rule, the people are under bliss, that there are no problems, I will apologize to you and go back home. But if I show you the problems, if I show you the suicides of the farmers, if I show you the unemployed youth, if I show you the old people who are still not getting pensions, if I show you the many problems, many other problems also that the people are facing, then the Chief Minister will have to apologize to the people of Telangana and he has to resign and make a Dalit a Chief Minister. This is what he claimed to do before he became the Chief Minister. So, I think the people is where the true test lies. That's where the rubber meets the road. So I think this is what we are trying to achieve here, throw light on the people's problems. And I urge the media also, like you said, somebody who's not even done 500 kilometers is getting amazing publicity, amazing coverage. But I've covered 2,000.
You think it's disproportionate?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Why do you think it's disproportionate?
Because of your, I don't know, your bias. Again, yes, bias.
The question is there a bias? You think there is
a
a bias?
Of course there is a bias. Of course there is a bias. Of course there is a bias. I have covered 2,700 kilometers of Padayatra. Then why am I not getting the coverage? See, the problem is not you covering me. What I'm trying to achieve here is to throw light on the problems of the people of Telangana, their plight. So really, with a sincere heart, I implore the media, please come and throw some light on the plight of my people in Telangana.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You've been traveling to Delhi often. You recently came to Delhi, you claim there's a scam, nobody's talking about the scam, nobody's talking about like that. I mean, why do you, is it true that you came and met the CAG on these scams?
Yes, actually, in fact, just this morning we have met the CAG to complain about the same corruption. Now this corruption we are talking about, I call this the biggest scam of India. This is the biggest scam of India because it involves money to the tune of 1.2 lakh crore of rupees.
How did you come to that conclusion on the figure?
Because the money that was spent on this project, according to government figures, it's right on there on the paper. It's not a project that's yet to be done. It's a project that's already completed, commissioned. It began in 2016, declared finished in 2019. So this is the kind of money that's already spent on this project. It's called the Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project. And the money spent on this project is 1.2 lakh crores of rupees. This project was just meant to irrigate, meant to irrigate 18 lakh acres, but just irrigates less than 1 lakh acres. So the whole project itself is, the engineering of the project is flawed. This is the same project. This project was actually the brainchild of my father, late YSR. When he was the Chief Minister, he planned this project at the cost of 38,000 crores of rupees to irrigate 16.5 lakh acres of land. But the current Chief Minister said he would irrigate 18 lakh of acres at the cost of 1.2 lakh crores of rupees. So why is it hiked by so many times? It's 3 times more than what one Chief Minister wanted.
Have you asked him these questions? Has he answered these questions? Has anybody from his party answered these questions?
Anybody from?
From his party answered these questions. The BRS. You're referring to the BRS, right?
No, yeah, the BRS, correct. No, nobody answers these questions because it is blatantly, it's just right there. It's very obvious that the corruption involved in this scam is so obvious. They don't have the courage, they don't have the face to answer any of these questions. Actually, why don't they answer these questions? Because the media doesn't question them in the first place. I am asking you all. Why don't you question KCR? Why don't you question
We question
TRS?
every government. We question every government. In fact, we are not very
Of
popular
course
with a lot
not.
of
No,
governments.
no. The local media is biased and the national media doesn't cover us. So there is nobody questioning Mr. KCR. So there are no answers. I'm asking you why. Why don't you ask the questions?
Okay, let me flip
See,
it this
there
way.
are two reasons why you may not be answering these questioning. Why there are two reasons why you may not be posing these questions. One, probably the national media doesn't know about it. If it doesn't know about it, it's a shame because it is the biggest scam of India. And another reason may be that you don't care. If you don't care, I'll tell you why you should care. You should care because the funds that went into this project actually came from central financial institutions.
Yes.
Money to the tune of 1 lakh crores came from institutions like Rural Electrification Corporation, like NABARD, like PNB, like Power Finance Corporation. 1 lakh crore of rupees came from all of these institutions into this project. So this is not notional money that I am talking about. This is not money on paper that I am talking about. This is actual money that went out of the exchequer into the hands of the contractor and from there siphoned off.
Yeah.
So this is the money of the people of India. This is actually
Do
taxpayers'
people talk
money.
about this when you go on a Padyatra, for example? Do people talk about this? Is there awareness within the people?
Well, some people do talk about it. Some people can see the results of this project because a project that was meant to irrigate 18 lakh of acres is not even irrigating 1 lakh acre of acres. The government itself says the last rainy season, all they irrigated from this project was 57,000 acres. So it's obvious that this project is a fiasco. But what I'm saying is it's not getting coverage, it's not getting the kind of attention it needs. This is actual money that is gone into the hands, siphoned off. This is actual money of the people, but where is the national media covering it? And why is the national media not covering it is my question. This is the biggest scam of India, on par with the 2G or the Colgate. This is the biggest scam of India in the recent history. 1.2 lakh crores of rupees. Imagine that.
Well, you've gone to the CAG. Let's hope that there is investigation into it. And of course, I mean, for every scam, there is a report, there is evidence, there is investigation that is done. I'm sure at the relevant stage, whatever comes out will be looked at, right? And will be reported. And I know that there have been several protests that have been held on this issue that have also been covered by the media. So you may be wrong. You may be wrong. And one more thing I have to say, politicians also sometimes, they accuse the media of things which may not be true. Because I'm not so sure that they make statements without perhaps checking the actual coverage of what a channel
Excuse
or a
me,
network has done.
Niranjan, this is the biggest scam of India. Is it getting the attention that it's supposed to get? Is it getting the attention that 2G got? Is it getting the attention that Colgate got? See, somewhere in Bihar,
Yeah.
Mr. Lalu's fodder scam
Yes.
was what, like 1,000 crores or less than 1,000 crores or 2,000 crores? People in Kerala know about it. People in Telangana know about it. Why? Because it's so close to Delhi. You people cover it.
Yes.
So somewhere far in Telangana, there's such a
it's
big
not far.
scam,
First of
such a
all-
big scam happening in Telangana. 1.2 lakh crores of rupees is siphoned off and nobody is talking
No.
about it. Did you know about it? Do you
I
know
have to
about
tell
it?
you-
Do the national media
I
talk
know
about
there is
it?
something
Okay,
like
whether the national media knows about it or talks about it, I do not know about it, but I definitely know that the BJP knows about it. Because people from the BJP party, the minister himself, Minister Shekhawat, himself, the Minister for Water Resources himself, he comes to our states and says that Kaleshwaram project is an ATM project for the Chief Minister. Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman herself comes and says this is a ridiculous project because
people
the
are
numbers doesn't... Exactly, I'm saying the
People are
BJP
talking
knows
about
about it. No, the BJP knows about it. The BJP knows about it. My question to the BJP is, why don't you commission an inquiry then? If you know the irregularities in the project, you are the watchdog of the country. You are the people in authority in India. You are the people who are ruling the country, then why don't you commission an authority? Why isn't there an audit? Why isn't there any inquiry commissioned on this project, or why isn't there any action taken on the contractor who's built such a ridiculous project? So if BJP knows about it, they are not doing anything about it. Why? Because the media is not...
No, you maybe...
That's because the media is not forcing them to. If the media covers it enough, then the BJP will be forced to take some action.
But let me tell you something. For example, you've thrown up figures here. It's a claim. As of now, it's a claim. It's a claim, right? There has to be an investigation. But I want to go back to one point that you made. You said we covered the Bihar story because it's close to Delhi. I want to correct you on that. Because that is exactly the kind of media we don't want to be, and we are not. It's the kind of media perhaps that we refer to as Lutyens media, right? Because if you look at the coverage of media, we do a lot. We pay a lot of stress to stories from different parts of the country. It's not true. I want to correct you on that. Things have changed. For example, one of the biggest stories we recently covered from the state of Telangana, the case of the minor gang rape. If you remember, we were one of the few networks that covered it to the point where there was intense scrutiny and pressure on the government to act. You will have to appreciate that. I mean, it's not as if media networks are scared of the government or something like that. So that may be a little...
No, I'm not saying you're scared of it. I'm just saying that you are too far away to pay any interest. I'm just saying that, see, what I'm saying is that you cover news from what's happening in other parts of the world more than you cover news on what's happening in other parts of India.
Yeah.
See, it's a simple thing. See, geographically, we are so far away from Delhi that it feels like a long distance relationship with the capital.
It's not
and
true.
To top it up, and to top it up, and to top it up, and I don't agree with you, Niranjan. And to top it up, you ignore us.
That's not
hurts.
true. That's not. I don't know who
It
you're
hurts.
referring to when you say
It hurts.
you are ignoring us.
It hurts. Do anybody here agree with me? Do anybody here agree with me that the central media does not cover...
What is central media?
I mean, the national media does not cover the states that are farthest from the capital.
No, not true.
See the applause.
Okay.
See the applause. Arey, hum hai bhai. Hum bhi hai bhai.
I am from Bangalore. I am from Karnataka.
जरा देखो हमें भी देखो जरा हमें भी देखो
I share your angst.
जरा हमें भी देखो इतना अनजान भी मत मारो इतना अनजान भी मत मारो
I share your angst. I share your angst. I am from Karnataka. I speak Kannada. I speak Telugu as well. That's my mother tongue.
The further away you are from Delhi, the lesser you get covered.
Not anymore.
The lesser you get covered.
Things have changed.
No. You ask me. You told me that somebody who's not even done a Padayatra of 500 kilometers gets covered more than me.
That is Lutyens media.
No. Whatever. Did you cover me? Did you cover me?
Of course we did.
No, you didn't.
The fact that we are here...
No, you didn't.
Of course
No, you called me for Kaleshwaram project. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. The only time that the national media covers the other states is during elections.
Not at
Which
all.
state has given BJP or Congress how many seats? Or which regional party is giving which alliance, UPA or NDA, how many seats? That's what interests the national media most about the regional parties in the states that are lower south.
We got the right leader for the subject. Is there a bias? Now let me ask you my question to you. See, you're a young politician, and like I was saying to you a little while earlier, right? It would have been easy, and as an observer and as a journalist, one would wonder that it would have been easier for you to join a party or be associated with join a party or be associated with a party you're familiar with. But why did you choose to launch your own party? And what are some of the challenges you are facing? Because you're alone and you have an election coming up. What are some of the challenges you face? And are you getting enough support on the ground?
Well, I did not join any other party like the TRS or the Congress or the BJP that are already existing in Telangana, because I did not approve with any of those parties. I do not approve with the style of their parties, the way they are functioning right now, the ideologies of certain parties, and I do not agree with the corruption of the TRS, of course. The reason I floated my own party is to establish, to bring back my father's reign. To make him proud is the reason I started YSR Telangana party that is named after my father. Of course there are challenges. There will be challenges to anybody starting up anything. Like you said, any startup will have challenges. I do have my own challenges. And as a woman, I have a little more challenges.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes.
Why don't you speak about that? Because very, very rarely do politicians actually speak about the challenges that they face. You mentioned as a woman, I find it more challenging. Why do you say that?
I say that because the perspective of the general politicians is that they belittle women. Like say for example, I have floated a party. And when I floated a party and we wanted to do a hunger strike actually for the unemployed youth, because our government has not been giving notifications since 8 years and there is so much of unemployment in Telangana. So when I wanted to do this hunger strike for 3 days, the type of comments that came were so women-centric. They were like, oh, you want to do this thing. One of them, actually the chief minister's son himself called, every Tuesday I wanted to do a hunger strike, so he called it as the women doing vratas. What kind of a comment is that? Why would you say that? If it was a man doing that, would you say that?
Is that becoming a trend? Because often...
Another minister said that, because I'm doing it on every Tuesday, he said that every Tuesday, how do you put it in Hindi? It's like Mangalwar Sali kind of a thing.
Oh.
Those were horrendous. They actually hurt. What kind of comments are these? Just because I'm a woman? Is that what you mean? Of course there are challenges.
It was fantastic to have you with us on the NBF National Conclave. Y. Sharmila, thank you very much for coming all the way. And are you going back to the Padyatra tomorrow?
Yes.
All the very best. And thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for that very passionate session there, YS Sharmila. Ms. YS Sharmila, of course, Chief of the YSRTP, speaking to Niranjan there at the NBF National Conclave. And we are, of course, now staying with the southern states and moving swiftly to our next session, which is titled Future of News, Media and Opposition. Remember, as we've been emphasizing